Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Chicago Bears fans. Welcome to the Bears Den podcast number 79. We have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. Well, not really. We're all still reeling from the Drew Dahlman retirement, but anyway, we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss the Crosby hoopla that is the free agency and anything else we're going to think of. As always, please like us, subscribe, follow, share our content, show us some love. You can find us on Facebook, X, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. And don't be shy tonight. Send us your comments. Send us your feedback. We love when the audience interacts with us. Without further ado, let me introduce the rest of the Bears in the Den. I am your host, Andy. We are joined by the megastar, Todd.
Think I'm going to retire.
And a superstar, the bad guy, the champ. So, guys, welcome to the show. Needless to say, a bomb got dropped on us today. Drew Dahlman has announced his retirement at the age of 28. Last year, we signed him for 3 years, $42 million. And now he's retiring. And suffice to say, our scouting department was probably not scouting centers this year during the college season. So we're behind the 8 ball. So now we got to come up with money to sign a center. Even though this is going to free up money, but we're still going to have to use it to sign a center. So, Todd, take us away. What's your thoughts on this news today?
Well, it was shocking. I mean, to hit free agency and be able to get to be able to sign a solid deal, good money for a center, and but he knows his body. I can't. I mean, some people far be it from me to tell a guy when he's done, but look, I was surprised. I think he definitely had some years left in him without a doubt. But I don't know what the struggle is, the day to day there. I guess we're going to clear about a little around $10 million. I think is the number I heard. I know that Linderbaum's a free agent, didn't get tagged, but he wants 25 million. Supposedly 20's on the table with him. And he's a young guy. I mean, the Ravens have a first round pick in him. They've got a lot tied up in him. So I don't think there's any chance of that. But there's a couple of centers that got cut, and there's a couple of workable centers, I guess, in free agency. So it's going to be a challenge. It wasn't a position we were thinking we had to make any move on.
No, Champ, what are your thoughts on the news today?
This sucks.
It does suck.
This sucks. We were in a position to where it's decided, are we in or are we out? I'm trying to acquire Matt Crosby and to address our secondary needs. So we have great needs on that. We got great needs on our defensive line, trying to shore up this defense because we're trying to become a Super Bowl contender, and we haven't been a legitimate Super Bowl contender in forever. This hurts us. This puts us, behind the grain, and it was unexpected to say the least. So now Ryan Poles has got to pivot and decide where to allocate money and how we're going to pay for his replacement and what caliber guy that we're going to get. People who don't know, the center is the only other player that touches the ball every offensive snap, but to put like the quarterback. So he's the guy who makes the line calls, the protection calls, along with the quarterback. So it's you just can't stick somebody in that position. And trust me, believe me when I tell you, we know what bad center play looks like.
We
Yes, we
We've
do.
do.
been dealing, we've been
Definitely.
dealing with it for a very long time. So Drew Dalman was supposed to shore that up, and we wasn't supposed to worry about this position for at least 3 years. Now we do after one. So this is not ideal.
No, considering we've lost Trapillo for it's being reported could be the entire season, three
Yeah.
quarters of the season.
Yeah.
And now we've lost our center, and we've lost 40% of our starters last year on the offensive line. And the offensive line was the strength of this team. I mean, it was the backbone. I mean, you saw what we did. I mean, the sack total dropped on Caleb Williams, and our running game got much, much better. I mean, we were elite in the run game. I mean, I thought when we got Dahlman, we were going to be set at center for 3, 4, 5 years. I was not expecting this news. I was expecting other news today, but I definitely wasn't expecting this news.
Yeah.
But in a little bit of different news, we've already worked out Tyler Biotish, who's the starting center for Washington last year.
So we must have had a day or two heads up with
we
the
almost
team
had
anyway,
to know.
clearly. Yeah.
That's what I was going to get to. We almost had to know yesterday or the day before that Dahlman was going to retire to be able to work him out today. So, Todd, you know anything about this guy?
Well, he was drafted and had his early years with the Cowboys. He signed a free agent deal with the Commanders. I think we looked at his numbers. He made about 10 million last year, which is about what we're going to get back
10.8.
on here. Yeah, so I'd like to get him cheaper than that. He was released for a reason. So his I think he was 12th on PFF as far as center rankings. He's not quite as good a run, according to PFF, not quite as good of a run blocker as Dahlman, but was a little bit better pass blocker. So, if you can get him in the 5-6 million range, you probably better jump on that. I looked up that Luke Newman had played some
Yes.
center in the All-Star games after the season last year, going into the draft, and graded out pretty good there. I think really need to accelerate that probably as a backup. I don't want to re-sign Bates for any reason.
No.
And if hopefully they know enough about Newman to know whether he can put in the hours to at least be the backup center, and maybe in the future going forward maybe could fight for a starting job, but that would be the plan I would go with.
Champ, do we need to draft a center now? I mean, I'm almost positive the scouting department was not planning on drafting a center. I can almost guarantee you that.
Before Clarence jumps in, I'm not opposed to taking a day 3 center to develop, but I mean, you're not going to start a rookie center. I'm not interested in a rookie center in any way, shape, or form getting time. I'm not interested in Newman as a project second-year player starting at center. Those are both terrible options.
So where do we go, Champ? Where do we go from here?
Well, you have to address it through free agency and or trade. I mean, the second one is not ideal either because we have so many other needs. But our draft has got to be addressed defense. I mean, we all know it. We got
Yes.
holes in our defense,
We do.
and we have to address it there. We've got people coming back on defensive side of the ball that may or may not be ready for the start of the year, but it's going to provide some depth pieces so we can afford to draft a cornerback or a safety or whatever. They not necessarily have to start, but we have got to address the defensive tackle and edge rusher. Those two are the number one positions we got to look at, and then you got to throw in the left tackle position. So we don't have no time to be sitting up there trying to scout centers coming out of college. Like Todd said, it's not an option to me to draft a center and have him start, and especially if he's not a top 10 pick.
No,
So, and
there,
even those guys still struggle.
yeah, I mean, there's some guys that are high valued guards that could kick in the center, but haven't played. Also, that's a projection. There's from what I've seen and the draft people that I follow, there's really not even a day two center, just pure center. So they're all going to be fourth round and later picks. So I mean that's a 2-year project getting that guy to be a starter. But with Biotish, you probably could get those 2 years. I mean, he's 28, so he's a year older than Dahlman, but they're right in that same age frame. So I think that he would be better than serviceable unless there's an injury issue there. There's a reason the Commanders, and I don't know if it's a money thing there, but there's a reason they let him go, and I'm a little concerned about that. But it might have just fallen in our lap that it just happened, a day or two before this. So, but I like that idea. I don't think, the center thing is not going to affect taking 3 defensive players, at least one, lineman, linebacker, defensive back in the first 3 picks. I still think that's still the plan.
To me, the first 2 picks in our draft have to be defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying 3 honestly, but
I think we need 4. I think we need 2 defensive ends and 2 defensive tackles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, you just kind of have to take somebody later that take a flyer on that. I mean, there's still the low end of free agency where you can get a rotation piece.
So let's move on. So, Champ, I'll let you kick us off. The news, what we thought was going to be the main topic of our show, the Max Crosby rumors. Don't get me wrong, it's free agency. There's always rumors. The Bears are always tied to somebody, somehow. Clarence, you think this is going to happen, especially with what happened today? Now that we need a center and have to spend money on a center, is this actually going to come to fruition?
Well, if we address the center position in free agency, it shouldn't hamper our ability to um, trade for Max Crosby. And I will tell you that makes us legitimate Super Bowl contenders, even with the center position being
Mm-hmm.
a hole right now. It's not the end of the world. With this happened, there are people who go into the NFL with uh, these type of problems all the time, and the real good teams have guys that seem to be able to circumvent this. This is not a death knell, but if the rumors are true, and we are the back-to-back off-season champions,
Mm-hmm.
so we know that the
Mhm.
Chicago Bears tend to be win the off-season. And I tell you, acquiring Max Crosby will definitely put a smile on my face.
Whoa, that says a lot. If the champ is happy. So, Todd, Todd,
Yes, sir.
what do we have to give up to get Max Crosby? Don't we have to move Edmunds and Moore to free up $31.5 million?
Yeah, and their almost public interest in Edmunds just floors me. I mean, that's doing us the biggest favor. I don't know if they just like him that if there's 1 year left on his deal and they can get out and make a change. I mean, there's value in that, but this is a guy that we honestly were just going to release. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. We were just going to release him. If we can make these numbers work with DJ and Edmunds, yeah, it's a no brainer. Who's the best player on our team? I mean, in your opinion, who's the best player on our team?
On defense?
Caleb Williams.
Offense?
Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams.
And Tooney. And on defense, it's kind of a crapshoot. I guess it's still Jalen Johnson. I don't know. But look, Crosby would be the best player on our team in any position right now, even coming off an injury. He would be the best player on this team. We have to if we can put this deal together, we have to put this deal together. It's just a no-brainer. I mean, I heard the thing that I heard today that was interesting was I know they want somebody to occupy the middle out of this draft. I feel like they want some sort of nose tackle or three tack or whatever it's going to be. That if they can get, and it's the Cardinals in the scenario where I'm always trading Tyson to the Cardinals. If we can secure 35 and give up 25 and give up DJ and Edmunds, I mean, you have to do that. I mean, there's not an edge rusher anywhere in this draft that's going to come close to Crosby's ability for the next 3 or 4 years with us. I mean, there's not even a guy in the top 5 that's got to have that kind of impact. So the draft, the players that we can get at 25, pretty much the same players we can get at 35 as far as an interior guy. So if you can come out of the second round, I mean, it costs us Bajet, and I don't love that, but it's a deal you have to do. If the Cardinals are seriously interested, it's a deal that you have to do.
So Clarence, how much draft capital do you want to give up for Crosby? If you have to give up Edmunds and more, and if they won't draft capital, how far are you going? You're going to give up 2 first? They're saying they also want 2 first.
Well,
I'm not giving 2 first for Crosby. We have too many needs.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
Right.
We give up 2 first?
We can't.
No, I mean, I would throw in something next year. It's not going to be a first-round pick. But if I'm going to give him DJ, somebody who's going to be reliable for their quarterback, and if they really want Edmunds, I mean, and I'm going to give him the first-round pick this year, obviously, at 25, especially if I can secure 35.
That hurts. God,
I'm going to do that. But honestly, it's in this scenario, it's Bajet to the Cardinals to get 35. I'll give up 25. I'll give up those 2 players, no problem. I'm backing up 10 spots. That's what I'm doing. I'm backing up 10 spots to make that deal work. And I'm throwing in Tyson Bajet, who we're going to have to replace, but I think there's somebody we can sign for relatively
cheaper
cheap
than
money
Bajet, honestly.
And there's 2 or 3 guys that were supposed to be world beaters in this draft that are going to be 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. Grab one and stash it and see if he can play. I mean, there's several guys.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, Todd. The thing that just really, really concerns me is you can take McDonald from Ohio State,
and you might get him at 35. He had an okay combine. He didn't have a lights out combine. He had an okay time running. It wasn't amazing. He is a run stuffer, and he is super young. So I love those 2 things about him. But, I mean, we were all on fire for Lee Hunter 2-3 weeks ago, and I think he's easily there at 35. He didn't have a great combine.
I like Lee Hunter. Lee Hunter has a little bit more pass rush skills than McDonald.
I think he's on the board at 35.
In fairness to McDonald, like they said, at Ohio State, he was asked to play nose tackle only.
Right.
He was told to occupy those A gaps. Occupy 2 offensive linemen. Yeah, so you don't know for a fact if he can or cannot rush a passer. Right. Like, you don't really know that. Somebody his size should be able to win on bull rush all the time.
Yeah, and basically we need a space eater. They'll get into the quarterback if Crosby's on his team. It's not going to be a problem. Right. We need people to stop being able to run the ball between the tackles on us.
I mean, I think Crosby lifts everybody 30%. I mean, I honestly do. I think he lifts every defensive lineman on that line 30% over
because he takes away. He's going to take away anybody else getting double teamed.
Of course, and
every offensive coordinator is going to be up at night wondering how to stop Crosby.
I think just the post combine comments from different guys. I think there's a 50% chance that McDonald's are on the board at 35, and I think there's probably a 75% chance Lee Hunter's on the board. So if I'm getting those 2 guys on the line, and I'm giving up 2 guys I was willing to give up anyway, and I'm giving up Bajet, which I'm not thrilled about, but that's what it takes to do it, and that's what I'm going to do.
So since we're talking about our defensive ends, here's our defensive ends under contract right now. We have Montez Sweat, Odingbo, Booker, and then 3 practice squad guys, Garvin, Cromie, and Martin.
So you got Sweat and Booker.
Yes, because Odingbo is not going to start the year on the active roster. He's going to be on the IR.
And
Will
he's
any of
probably
you
gonna
guys
play
resign
inside.
Clarence, would you resign any of our own free agents? Joe Tryon Shrinkett, Daniel Hardy, or Dominique Robinson?
I
Would you
mean, are
resign
you?
any of them?
Is this an inside joke? The answer is no.
Todd, would you?
Minimum deals. Hardy's a solid special teamer.
Yeah, him I can see coming back for special teams only.
And he's awesome in the preseason.
Yes. Dominique Robinson has had no chance. He's proven nothing in 3-4 years.
I mean,
so
if you've got an open roster spot, he's going to take a minimum deal or close to it. Shoyinka might be the last defensive lineman on the team, last edge anyway.
So let me ask you guys: they're in it. So Trey Henderson, say for Trey Henderson. The reason I like Trey Henderson more than Max Crosby, I'm not saying he's more talented. It's not what I'm saying. Is you're going to pay him $10 million or less than Crosby, and you're not going to give up draft capital. Todd, shouldn't we go after Henderson and just give up on his Crosby deal?
No, I'm all in on Crosby until they tell me no, or until some other team ponies up 2 first-round picks. Crosby's the difference maker. It's good that Henderson's out there as a plan B, but we need an answer, and everybody needs an answer. Every other team that's interested needs an answer prior to free agency starting on, are you going to trade Crosby, and what realistically are you going to get for him? Because that's it. I mean, that's everything.
Champ, should we pivot to Henderson? We can save money and we can save draft capital. I mean, is Crosby that much better than Henderson?
Yes.
Their ages are the same, 31 and 30.
Yeah.
But Henderson also has a history of injuries as well.
And Henderson also has a history with Dennis Allen. They know each other. He knows his system.
None of that really matters. None of that really matters to me. Crosby has been one of the best at getting to the quarterback, plain and simple. He's been one of the best. And if you want to make a legitimate run at the Super Bowl, you go get Crosby. Because we only got 2 years, guys, before we're going to be severely hampered at what we can do once we have to start paying Caleb Williams. We don't have time to mess around. Do you want to go to the Super Bowl or not?
And look,
Crosby takes you there.
And their budding relationship is very public right now.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's very odd.
You know, look, if it's equal across the board and Caleb's down with Crosby, then you lean that way.
No doubt.
So another name that I see popping up in free agency all the time, would either of you bring back our old buddy Khalil Mack?
I mean, it's
now. Don't forget, he's more of a 3-4 in. He's not a 4-3.
Yeah, but he's always kind of like the idea of just being the pass rusher. I don't think that'd be a problem. It's option 3 just because of his age.
What about Bradley Chubb or Clowney? Clarence, do either of them do it for you?
No, I mean, you could, if we were desperate, you can get me to take a flyer on Bradley Chubb, but I'm not touching Clowney.
I mean, if that were the case, I would go after one of the younger guys in Phillips or Maffei or.
Yeah, Odafe.
He's going to be overpriced.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're looking for their breakout free agency deals. All these other guys have made a bunch of money.
Yeah, I'm not touching Bosa because he's desperate.
No,
he's definitely not going to finish the season. We want them Ohio State ends.
Oh my God! I hope J9 is not watching because
them Bosa brothers do. They do not play the whole season.
The last game of the season, Alicia looked at me and said, "You got to get a new center. This guy isn't any good." I said, "He's a Pro Bowl center." She said, "Nah, he's got to go." She was right. He's got to go.
Damn it! Yeah, she did say that actually.
She did.
She did.
I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. He's a Pro Bowl center. We just signed him, man.
She was took right. A belt to her ass because she knew it. She did say. I remember her saying that. Now.
Yep.
Damn.
I thought about that within 5 minutes of hearing that news. I go, damn, Alicia.
But I mean, I know this is all subject, but is she not hilarious? I mean, gosh, she is hilarious.
So funny.
I remember saying that she was talking
to big head. She watches this.
She's like, I don't know what you talking. She's like, I know you lying. He is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
J9, I would just put your draft on Otto next year. Hell, I'll just put on Otto.
That was. I think she felt bad about that. She apologized the next week.
What I get for consolation prize? Nothing,
Yeah.
J9. You're not in it.
That's funny. That's funny.
So let's move on to defensive tackle. Guys, as of right now, we have Jarrett, Dexter, and Shamar Turner as our only guys under contract at defensive tackle. Shamar Turner is probably going to start the year on IR. Would either of you guys resign our own free agents in Andrew Billings or Chris Williams? No?
I mean, Billings probably just needs to retire. I would think. I mean, he seemed to be really big and slow during the season this year. I think he's probably done. Chris Williams is just the guy that we have to cut and bring back whenever we need a roster spot. So we need to add to that. But the three guys we have under contract, I imagine all three will be there.
Yeah. Well, guys, look at this. Do you guys still think defensive end is a bigger need? Look at our defensive tackles. None of them excite me at all.
I still hold out hope for Turner. I mean, we use he's a top 60 pick or right in that neighborhood. And he was pretty widely regarded last year. We need to add we need to get younger in the middle, and we have to draft a run stopping defensive lineman.
I mean, Grady Jarrett's deal is bad.
Yeah, it's
Deo Adingbo's deal is bad.
Yeah.
That's
free agency, man.
We have no talent at defensive tackle. Dexter is okay in the pass, but he's not stout against the run.
Well, put Crosby next to him. He'll get a little better.
Clarence, what do you think we need to do at defensive tackles? I still say this is need number one. Defensive end is need number two. I know I'm in a minority on this show, but there's no talent on this defensive tackle position. None.
Well, you got to think about it because I preference my stance on edge rusher because my number one intention is to draft a defensive tackle. So it's always going to be Crosby 1A and then Hendrickson or whoever 1B, preferably Henderson. So if that were to hold a form, my number one need is defensive tackle, and that's what I would draft. Now, we all know that we need depth there. We need depth in the secondary as well, and linebackers. I mean, we got needs all over the defense.
Oh, we need a linebacker for sure.
So, but there's no way I'm not drafting a D tackle. I'm sorry. It's just too many games to where we had any kind of production out of that position. I mean, it was almost laughable watching some of them D tackles try to chase down some of these quarterbacks who are running this escape from the pocket. I mean, it was laughable.
Yeah.
And, not able to set the edge, not able to force the quarterback outside to where people can get to him. They just ran by him. We've got to get a monster in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they interviewed the draft. They met with Dante Corleone. He's 330 some odd pounds, but he's a later guy. He's like in the 50-60 range, so second round pick. But strictly a run defender for the most part.
I mean, there is some talent later in the draft, like Dominique Orange from.
Yep, Dominique Orange is another guy that's primarily
from
a run
Florida
guy.
State, Zane Durant from Penn State.
Yep.
There's a guy from Florida. There's a guy from Florida that's pretty good.
Caleb Banks missed a lot of time. He won't be there at 35 if we do that trade down from 25 to 35 Christian Miller is in play at 35,
and he's an elite run stopper as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the three best run stoppers at D tackle is McDonald, Hunter, and Miller.
Miller's lighter. He's a little bit better athlete. He
has versatility, though. He can play all four positions.
That's what I'm saying. He's a better athlete than just like a guy like Dominique Orange. It's just pure mass, like me, just pure mass.
So let's move on to linebackers. Clarence, I'll let you kick us off. As of right now, we have still Tremaine Edmunds under contract, TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, Ruben Hippolyte, and Nephi Sewell. And our free agents are Jalen Reeves-Maben, DeMarco Jackson, and Ty Summers. Would you keep any of our free agents?
Oh, DeMarco Jackson, I definitely would take a flyer on. I like what I
Yes.
saw out of him.
Yeah,
And you almost have to resign him because Sewell. Any idea how much longer he's going to be out? He had a pretty bad injury,
Yeah, he did.
and
I,
T.J. Edwards as well.
I think that Jackson and Edwards are the starters next year. We just got to work out the money on Jackson. This Dalman money is probably more than enough to shore up Jackson.
But is Jackson the type of linebacker that increases our team speed?
He's our fill-in running linebacker till our rookie that we draft is on board enough, and then now you've got a rotation. I expect he'll start the season.
Well, there were games when there was a lot of talk that he was better later in the season than Edmunds was.
Yeah, and well,
I mean, just watch him.
Hippolyte has a lot of speed too. He just is raw. Yeah.
And then Tremaine Edmunds, we all know the deal on him. He's
Raider bound.
due to be cut, but he's still on the roster. But if we can get any kind of draft capital for him, 6th to 5th,
he's
4th,
he's part of the Crosby deal, man. Got to protect him for now.
So would any of these free agents excite you? Devin Lloyd, Devin Bush, N'Kobe Dean, Leo Chanel, who is a Chief.
Chanel's a good player. They're going to be expensive, man. All these guys are going to be too much money.
Alex Azalone, Bobby Wagner it's announced he wants to come back for, I think he's pushing 36, 37.
Anybody watch Bobby Wagner play? It was hard to watch.
Now, Azalone was a Lion, so he's pretty familiar with. Ben should be familiar with him. He might not be that much money.
Bobby Wagner is a future Hall of Famer, but
but Wagner is what is he? 40?
He's lost 2 steps.
Yeah. I think he's 36ish.
Is he?
Yeah, he's lost 2 steps. He's definitely.
The only big money here is Devin Lloyd. Chanel should get some money, but Lloyd's going to get a pretty good deal. We can't buy a linebacker. I mean, I'm optimistic on money, but even I won't say that we have enough money to be buying a linebacker.
Neither do I. So I think also we bring Jackson back. T.J. Edwards is our starter next year. Jackson, hopefully Hippolyte is ready to take a step forward.
Sewell, yeah.
And then Nephi Sewell, his brother, was in New Orleans with Dennis Allen as well.
Practice squad
guy. So let's move on to the cornerback room. Under contract, we have JJ, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, Blackwell, Terrell Smith, who's on IR, Dallas Flowers, Zav Frazier, who was on IR the entire season, and Dante Manning. And the big question is, any of our free agents, would you bring them back? The biggest two are Nashawn Wright and obviously Todd's boy, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Clarence, what would you do at cornerback?
Well, Nashawn Wright is looking to get paid.
Yes, I think
Gardner-Johnson is just got to be on a deal because I don't think he was that great in coverage. Matter of fact, he was horrible in coverage.
He was terrible at nickel.
But we know we going to need a nickel because Kyler Gordon can't stay healthy.
I want him I just want him as a box safety.
I just don't see. And I mean, to be honest with you, I think we should let Nashawn Wright go.
Yeah,
because he wasn't great coverage. He got burnt too much.
We don't have that money. No.
Yeah, Zay Frazier was having a hell of a camp, a hell of a preseason before he got hurt.
No, that was Terrell Smith.
Smith. I'm sorry.
Frazier got drafted, and then
he was.
The truth never came out. It seemed like he had major personal problems.
He had some issues there, but they say that stuff is straight, but.
Yeah,
Terrell Smith is the guy I meant to say. He was having a pretty. Yeah. I mean, they were talking about him starting the season at cornerback, over Stevenson. So he was having a real good camp, real good in coverage. He just seemed a guy that never gave up on the play, and real good at getting his head around in coverage and not getting those pass interference calls on him. I really like what I saw out of him. But I don't know about our own free agents. I'm going to have to say no. Jalen Jones, I don't know. Nick McLeod, if the price is right, we're gonna add him as depth. He's got starting experience, but he ain't nobody that blows you away.
I
But
think
it's
he's
just,
restricted free agent, so he'd get a minimum deal.
I mean, we have such a need. We're gonna have to probably do something we really don't want to.
So yeah, JJ Gordon, Stevenson, Blackwell, Tulsa, those guys are going to make the team. Frazier's going to get protected because of him being a draft pick last year. What really is going to stand out if any of these guys can have any versatility to fill in at safety,
And
because
that's Gardner
that'll make
Johnson.
him more valuable. Yeah, Gardner Johnson and maybe
He's a
Frazier.
safety.
Frazier has this. Yeah, he's strictly a safety. Frazier maybe could fill in. He's got the size to do it at safety, and even Stevenson. There's talk of that. I've been hearing that, for the last year or two. That if he could,
I think he'd be better at safety, Stevenson. Anyway,
he might be. He might be.
he's a willing tackler.
Yeah.
So do you guys think we need to add another corner? Because chances are,
Absolutely.
I do too. I think a cornerback is a position of need because everybody up there does not stay healthy. JJ did not. Gordon did not. Stevenson did not. Terrell Smith is not healthy. Frazier did not. I mean, I think we need another corner.
Yeah.
I would like to keep CJ Gardner Johnson because he can play safety.
I think.
As well.
Yeah. No. I think he'll come. They'll get him at a reasonable price. I actually expect that to happen, but I don't want him trying to fill in for Kyler Gordon at nickel.
No, he was horrible.
He can't. He doesn't have the speed for that.
No. So let's move on to safety since we were talking about safety, and we have two guys under contract on the practice squad. Javarius Owens, and I've never heard of either of these guys. No. Dominique Hampton.
No.
And then our own free agents, Kevin Bayard, Jonathan Owens, Brisker, and Hicks. Champ, what would you do at safety? Would you resign any of our safeties?
I mean, Brisker's going to be too much. Jonathan Owens, I would bring back. Kevin Bayard, I mean, he's going to be 32 years old, but you almost have to, unless you're willing to do what we said before and just take a guy like Gardner Johnson and move him to safety.
No.
I don't know about. I mean, Elijah Hicks has starting experience, but I think he's awful. I mean, we're going to say we're going to end up having to do something that we don't want to do. Now, this Jabril Peppers, I would be interested if the price was right. Let me see who else.
Cameron Curl is the name tied.
Cam Curl is the best. Yeah, but he's probably looking at $15 million. I mean,
yeah, and that's the reason why I didn't mention him. He's going to cost us too much money. We can't afford him.
Yeah. What about Gilman? That's another name that I've heard mentioned with us.
I don't know. I think they're determined to re-sign Bayard. If Brisker's number goes over, I expect him to get twice what I'm willing to pay him. Unless everybody should be afraid of the same thing I'm afraid of. One hit and he's out of the league. Yeah, it's just Owens is just replacement level. I don't, he knows the system. He's been there for a year, but a year with this coaching staff. But I'm not going to overpay that guy.
So we need safeties.
Yeah, no, we don't have any. I'm assuming that Bayard's back, but other than that, there's and maybe Gardner Johnson at safety, but that's 2 of 4 that you have to have.
Can Scenic Gardner Johnson play in the box, you think?
Yeah, he'll hit you.
Yes, he can, because he's a willing tackler. That's what you want your safety to do. He's got to be. Yeah, he will definitely hit you in the mouth.
So, I mean, Cameron Curl's the name. He's been tied to us already. Would any of you guys take a flyer on him?
Yeah, but we ain't got that money.
It's going to be too much money. We don't have the money.
Especially if we go after Crosby or Henderson. We're not going to have the money.
I mean,
so, guys, let me ask you something. Yeah. Shouldn't we just give up on those 2 guys and just try to fill out the roster and then add to it with the draft?
Yeah, we need to draft the safety for sure. It needs to be in the first 3 rounds. We need.
You say give up on who?
give up on Henderson and Crosby? Because if we sign one of those two
No,
guys,
no. We have to have that.
so where are we go? Where are we gonna? How
No,
are
no,
we
we
gonna have to free
can
up the money to sign all these other players that we just went through?
we can extend guys and create, we can get 20, 30, 40 million dollars. That'll be fine. But we have to draft. I think we have to draft a young safety. We have to draft a young linebacker, and we need to draft a young defensive interior player and maybe a late young edge rusher. But it's not going to be. It's not. I can't imagine it's going to be in the first 3 rounds.
So where's our center
Ryan,
come?
I mean, if Ryan Poles had listened to me and Todd last year when we were sitting up there saying to draft Xavier Watts, and we could have had him.
Yeah, that was 3rd round safety. Who's he's among the top half. He had a great season. We'll see how.
But Montez Sweat is almost certainly going to get his contract restructured. We at this point we got to and keep in mind from what I've been seeing, the NFL salary cap is going to go up $22 million.
Yeah.
That helps us too.
Yeah, so the Johnson's contract, and they'll probably do Tooney, and they can restructure 3 or 4 contracts and free up considerable
and free up considerable money.
Mm-hmm.
So the money aspect is not going to be an issue. How we spend it is, we just can't afford to be giving secondary people $10-15 million per year. We can't do it.
And I think they wanted to get Darnell tied up before it becomes is he going to hit free agency thing? I think
we got to pay him too. Yeah.
So I think that they can free up money. I mean, it's funny. Something not happened. Some teams like the Saints, the cap is a joke. It's not a joke. You can get yourself in serious trouble if you extend the wrong guys. If you extend the right guys that you're going to have for 2 or 3 years, you can always free up money.
I mean, I would extend Komet.
Yeah, for sure, Komet.
Now, some of these other guys, I would not extend what I deem a bad contract. Like a Dingbo, no.
I want out. They're trying to get off of that.
Out.
Yeah, there was talk of trying to apply for the insurance.
Grady Jarrett, I want out.
Those are the 2 contracts that we really messed up on.
Free agency gives you the bad contracts. Atlanta was done with him. We were super excited to get him. Or the Colts didn't see enough in a Dingbo to give him a second contract. Why?
Now you know why.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he could be an okay rotational player on defense, but I want to give that guy $8 million, $9 million. I don't want to give him $18 million. Right. So that's it. You overpay every time. That's why I'm not excited about this free agency, even though I did get excited about Linderbaum for about half a second when I found out they didn't tag him. But then I heard what he wanted or what he's turned down already is crazy. So
yeah, we're out of the Linderbaum.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Especially if we want to sign Crosby or Henderson, we're out of Linderbaum sweepstakes.
Well, Crosby takes care of himself if they actually want those 2 players.
Let me ask you a question. Is there smoke? Is there fire where there's smoke right now with Crosby coming to Chicago? I was just reading how the betting favorites are that he's going to Chicago in a trade. I mean, something seems to be brewing behind the scenes.
Vegas thinks so. I mean, the Vegas bettors think so, or the bookmakers, or whoever does that. But
that was on ProFootballTalk.com, and those guys are usually pretty solid.
And this is when Ryan Poles predominantly makes trades right before free agency starts.
They love him, right? And Mark Davis loves Crosby, and I think there is something to be said for if he comes and says, "This is where I want to be," that they try to make that work for him because they're not going anywhere. And if he's really become friends with Caleb or decides that Chicago's where he wants to be, maybe they.
Andy, where did you get that? Where did you get that from, though? Is that like fake news or what?
Yes, everybody's posting this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys: so if you're the Raiders, would you give up Max Crosby for a wide receiver? Like, does that make good business sense? Like, to me, I'd rather have an elite defensive end on my team than I don't know, what do you consider more, a number 2 receiver at best?
If you're drafting a quarterback number 1 overall, he's got to have somebody to throw the ball to. If you don't do it for him, then it's just like putting fresh food in a refrigerator that ain't plugged up. you're going to spoil them.
If they're smart, they've got Bowers. If they bring in DJ, if they take another receiver at 25 or early in the second round, then he's got some things to work with. You really have to. I mean, Justin was the prime example with us. We gave this guy nothing, right? We gave him and I'm not usually the guy making this argument, but we didn't do anything to help that kid out.
No, we didn't.
I'm so glad you said that. That warms my heart. Not to be the only guy touting that.
Yeah,
because I've had to say it so much. I got tired of hearing me say it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a fact. But if I'm the Raiders, my second pick, whatever I'm getting, you got to address that offensive line. It was atrocious.
Yeah,
so and that's the reason why getting DJ would make sense, because then you don't have to draft a wide receiver with your next pick. You can start addressing that line because you drafted a running back last year without having a quarterback, which I thought was dumb. But you got to shore up that old line, and I mean, hell, man, too many times Genty would take a handoff and he was getting hit in the backfield. Those dudes can't block out the sun.
Yeah.
So if you're the Raiders, let me ask you this: if you're the Raiders, why would you want DJ Moore? If you're going to tear it down to the studs and start all over, why would you not want to do what Ryan Poles did and just take draft capital for Bryce Young? I don't want nothing. I just want draft capital.
Because the money matches up, and after 3 years, you can get out for money without a guaranteed money.
But I'm saying the Raiders don't. The Raiders don't have to take DJ Moore. They don't have. They can demand draft capital only.
The salary still have to line up though, Andy. You can't just say, "Oh, just give me picks." The salary has to line up. That's the reason why it makes so much more sense to get DJ Moore instead of going with the Cowboys, who then you have to pay Pickens, and he's going to be tagged, but he wants a boatload of money. DJ Moore's salary lines up with Max Crosby's. That's why it makes sense.
Todd, what if the Raiders just say we don't want anybody, we just want capital? What do you say?
I don't know. I feel like they're taking Crosby and his concerns into this. It's what it feels like to me. I think he's made it clear where he wants to go, and I think they're weighing it in. It's almost a tear down. It's not a tear down. They've got a couple of pieces.
They have Bowers. They
still
have
can
skill
position.
They're gonna get Mendoza
pieces, but
isn't Tucker a young guy too? Is he like 2-year player, something like that?
Yeah, but they do need some veteran leadership. Although DJ, I mean, he would provide some of that for them, and I think that if you're looking at it as here's my quarterback, I have to shift off to being I have this great defensive player to what got zoomed in on to I've got this young quarterback. We're starting over. This is what we have to do. There's a lot of I don't know. I'm not in their scouting rooms, but it seems to me that these guys are trying to treat these first number 1 overall pick quarterbacks, really instead of just throwing them to the wolves. How do we make this work for them? And I think this helps that.
Let me ask you and Andy a question. Are you guys afraid somewhat of what we might give up to get Crosby?
Yes.
Because I don't want to be handicapped in the future either for a 31-year-old player.
No,
I don't think Ryan Poles doesn't strike me as a type that would give up the farm.
Is he 31? What is his age?
29.
29.
Ryan Pace strikes me as the kind who gave up the farm for Khalil Mack. Like he gave up so much.
I mean, when you look back on it, it's very fair to say that. The reasons why he did it. Now, let's say, for instance, had we gave up what we gave up to get Khalil Mack, had we had Caleb Williams here, I would have been a whole lot more okay with it.
Yeah, he overestimated.
But doing that, what he did with that defense, and then putting all your eggs in the basket of Mitch Trubisky was that more asinine thing.
And Matt Nagy too.
believing that you had a franchise quarterback and Mitch Trubisky was asinine. I mean, we can all agree that was a championship defense.
Yeah, it
If we
was.
had a quarterback, we're playing in at least two Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Doing what he did to get Trubisky was the dumbest stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like my blood pressure going high, but that's
Well,
what killed that. That's what killed that. That's what made that trade what it was. The simple fact of the matter is we couldn't do nothing on offense to
but
go with that defense.
maybe that's a doubling down effect. Like, hey, I did this. I brought in Trubisky. How can I take the defense over the top to make this still work out? You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, I took my quarterback, so now if this doesn't work out, I'm going to get fired, which is what happened.
Well, Ryan Pace, in my opinion, made two big mistakes. He overestimated Trubisky. He overestimated Matt Nagy. That's where he went wrong. He thought he had an elite coach, an elite quarterback, so he made the elite move acquiring Khalil Mack, and it didn't work out. Just the offense wasn't any good. It was so stale and redundant and bland and boring that it just didn't work. Matt Nagy was not a good offensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach. And now he's I'm surprised he got hired, but that's another podcast on a Giants show. So Clarence, let me ask you real quick. You were a big David Montgomery fan. Were you surprised to see him get moved? Especially when he's the one that wanted out. And I understand why he wanted out, but I understand why Detroit's going to go with Gibbs.
Why did
That's
he
an
want
elite
out?
level back.
Why did he want out?
He wanted more carries. He wanted to be the feature
Oh.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a big Montgomery fan. What did you think of that news before we go into our final thoughts?
David Montgomery is near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I know he
He
is.
is he is the epitome of a Chicago Bear running back, and he's a guy that I would love to have in this offense right now. You
Mm-hmm.
don't never doubt his intensity. You never doubt his heart, and he refuses to be brought down by shoestring tackles. He's a guy that's going to make you put his ass on the ground. He ain't just going to fall down. Um, he went to Detroit to be the number one guy. He was the number one guy in Chicago. So why would he leave being the number one guy if he's going to go to a place that he's eventually going to be the number two and see his carries, cut in half? Now, I don't fault the Detroit Lions because Jameer Gibbs is a beast.
Yeah, he is. I don't
Um,
fault him either.
but I would like to see David Montgomery happy, and if he's the 1A option at any team, and I'm looking around for a fantasy running back, I'm definitely going to always look to draft him. He's got heart and soul. He carries the rock with attitude and bad intentions, and you really have to put him down. And he don't fumble.
Yeah. He should get,
He should be the
but
starter in
he
Houston
should
now again.
he should get most of the carries there, I would think.
Yeah, if you're Joe Mixon, call 2 men in the truck.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, Woody Marks had a pretty good rookie season.
neither one of them are young, but I think that Mixon definitely has.
It definitely signals the end for I mean Woody Marks, probably is going to be the backup, but Joe Mixon, they don't need Joe Mixon
Or
and
the
David Montgomery.
complimentary back, or the guy, because Monty's never going to catch a ton of passes out of the backfield. So that's
Although he can do it,
yeah. I think Mixon is several years past what he was.
and he's a willing blocker as well,
Yeah.
which is one of the things that I'm always criticizing Monangai for.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was a rookie.
Yeah, he's going to get better. So, guys, let's head into our final thoughts. Again, thank you for watching. You can find us on Facebook, X, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. My final thoughts were I'm disappointed with the news today. It was stunning. It was shocking. So I thought we'd be set at center for many, many years. I thought this offensive line was going to be set for next year, and now we're missing two pieces. And I don't think Ryan Poles planned on finding a center right now. In fact, I'm sure he didn't, but here we are. So now he's got another challenge in front of him. So let's see how he handles it. But the Crosby stuff, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I don't think we're going to land him. I don't see it. The money can be tricky to draft capital. I don't see Ryan Poles going all in. He doesn't strike me as that type of GM, but I could be wrong. Next podcast next week, I could be eating my words. So, Todd, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, so to go off of your same stuff, I was shocked, same as everybody, but this is workable. It's not next man up because we're not quite there yet. I mean, we're not we're a year ahead of schedule. Last year, all that, we don't have a next man up at center. We've got a second year player now that maybe can play some center, and a guy that we should have cut a couple of years ago that's been our backup center. So we aren't really next man up, but this may work out with Biotish. That's probably our best bet going forward. And look, as far as the Crosby deal, I think that guy's the difference maker. I think Henderson can be a decent player, complimentary. He'll have okay numbers, but Crosby will make a difference. And I think whatever it takes to do that, if it costs us having to deal Bajent to try to get back in and keep things the way they were, or in the draft, in that same area, then we have to do that. We have to, and the money's all workable. You can smoke and mirror the money.
So, Todd, do we get him? Your opinion? Do we land Crosby or not? Yes or no?
Today, I think so. Yeah. Last week I was hearing, oh no, we were 5th or 6th or 7th in odds, but I think he wants to come here, and I think that's going to play a big part in it.
So I guess the bad guy is going to be the tiebreaker because 1-1. So, Chant, what are your final thoughts?
I think that the news being reported and the Bears' propensity to make splashes in the offseason points that Crosby is going to come to Chicago. If that happens, we need to go live as soon as we can get home and charge our phones. We need to have a pop-up show. Trey Henderson makes the Bears a good team and a dangerous team because it shores up one of the weaknesses that we had.
Mm-hmm.
We get Max Crosby, then we have got to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite in the NFC.
Yeah.
It puts our defense right there. I'm not going to say on par with Seattle because Seattle has speed at linebackers, and that's something that we don't. But it definitely improves our weakness of being able to get the opposing team off the field on third down. We can get the quarterback's jersey dirty. We can put pressure on them. We can speed his clock up. We can improve our sack number. It's just a lot of variables. Our secondary doesn't have to be in coverage as much. And as you can see,
Right.
games against the Green Bay Packers that comes to mind where our secondary is out on island and their wide receivers made our secondary look terrible. We thought our secondary was our number one strength on defense, and it was not. And the pass rush or lack thereof played a huge part of it. We get Crosby in here, and then we can then focus on drafting a three technique guy, somebody in the middle who can take up space and shore up our run defense. Then the Chicago Bears is a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And that's the position that I want to be in, and that excites me.
Yep.
So you're thinking we land Crosby, Champ?
I think that we get Crosby. I'm gonna be happy as hell.
So let me now to piggyback off what you just said. How are we gonna get our defensive tackle with the first pick at 25 if we trade for Crosby?
Well, there are options.
Yeah.
That's what I think what Todd said
Right.
makes a lot of difference because then you almost have to trade Bajent
Right.
because you
To
you
get back
can
into the
address that
draft.
That's the
to get
true
back
cost.
into the draft.
That's the true cost of the deal. Your whatever the distance is from 25 to wherever we end up picking, that's the cost plus those two players. But I'm willing to move on from the two players.
To get Crosby, I'm willing to give up 25. I don't love it, but to get Crosby, yes.
All right. Well, we'll see next week. We're seeing it'll be almost free agency. It'll be,
Yeah.
I think, legally tampering next week.
Yeah, it has to happen before that because you don't get that, and then you don't get Hendricks, and then it's like, now what do we do? So anyway.
So next week we'll see. So guys, thank you for watching again. Peace out and bear down.
Bear down.